We made it to February 5, and that's in 2022, and we thank you for joining us. We're talking today about the history of the University of Texas at El Paso. We just ran a promo for next week's show, which is the brewery show, Melissa.
Don't miss it next week.
Yeah, but that's next week, right? So that promo came on a little early. But anyway, 6:90 a.m., that's who we are, KTSM, streaming live on YouTube and also on our radio show page on Facebook. And remember in El Paso when? And this is where we always say, Texas history begins in El Paso. Melissa, how in the world are you?
Well, good morning, and I made it through that terrible blizzard. You know, I mean, what is it, a whiteout situation or
well,
what?
You know, I succumbed to the pressures of promotion, and I said, "Hey, man, we can't have a radio show." Well, here we are.
Yeah, I'm sitting there going, "Oh, I got Saturday. I'm gonna just relax." No, we're back on here. Oh, okay.
No, we got to do it because we can, and that's just how this works.
It's this area. This time when we get winter like this, you get half an inch of rain just even in the summer, and people freak out. So
it's understandable. It's the same thing. So anyway.
Well, hey, really quick to the audience, did you know that the historic DeSoto Hotel burnt down last night? That was pretty amazing. A lot of people have seen it. I talked this morning, didn't know about it, so I wanted to pop that out there. But I also want to remind everybody that they can also listen to us. If you're not watching us on Facebook, you can listen to us streaming live on the internet at ktsmradio.com, where it'll take you to the iHeartRadio link, and you can listen to us anywhere.
And if you're looking at Facebook, you see the guy in the orange shirt there on the right?
Yeah.
That is Daniel Carey-Whalen. Good
morning, Daniel.
Hey, get that mic up there if you don't mind. And try it again. Good morning.
Good morning.
I hear you better, I think. Am I hearing it all? Yeah, I think we are. And anyway, so the idea of today's topic, Daniel Carey-Whalen, you are the director.
Yes, of the Centennial Museum in Chihuahuan Desert Gardens.
Okay, you got gardens and desert. So I thought we'd talk to you about a considerable amount of the Bhutan history on campus.
Yeah.
But also, just if you can, in places, we'll talk about the general history of UT El Paso. And it's going back a ways. We're already past a century at that location, I believe.
Yes, that is correct.
And so it's an interesting thing. We have that University of Texas at El Paso on the west side of town. If you're not familiar with it, you drive by, and it's a style of buildings that is very unusual.
Yes, very unusual.
Tell us about that style.
So that style is the Bhutanese style. We have, ever since we moved the campus to its current location, we've used that style. So over 100 years.
Spell Bhutan, would you?
Bhutan is Bhutan.
And why is that important? What is that?
And I think we should start off because not everyone knows. I guess I take this for granted. Bhutan
Everybody
is a
knows
kingdom.
where Bhutan is.
Right, exactly. So Bhutan is a kingdom in the Himalayan mountains. It has two gigantic neighbors. It's the Switzerland of the Himalayas.
Okay.
It's a small Buddhist country, about the size, I think it's about the size of Connecticut or something. I mean, it's pretty small. And on the north is China, and on the south, east, and west is India. So these two superpowers is kind of lost in there. People are probably more familiar with Nepal, which is just a little bit to its west. Very similar, a little bit larger country, but also a country in the middle of the Himalayan mountains.
Well, Tibet, where's Tibet in range? Isn't Tibet right?
Now, Tibet is on the Chinese side.
Oh,
right?
okay.
It is, and they're very linked because the form of Buddhism that is in Bhutan is Tibetan Buddhism.
That's the main religion.
Which is the main religion in Bhutan, and I mention it because it specifically ties to the Lakong that we're going to be talking about later.
Okay, now you're going to have to spell that word.
Okay, the Lakong is LHAKHANG.
The H's are silent.
Pretty much, yeah. Well, at least the way I pronounce it. I'm a Midwesterner. I've been hanging out with the Bhutanese students, and I'm going to butcher it, but it sounds more like Hakong.
Oh, but we're referring to not only the style of architecture, but you have one specific building, and there it is on the Facebook
this building
page.
Here. There's the Lakong right there.
That's a bucket list item for people to see. It's such a cool little temple.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is it a temple?
We call it a temple. Yes. It is a desanctified temple.
Meaning they don't use it as such?
It's not used for religious purposes.
But it looks like a real one.
It looks like a real one. That's what they look like in Bhutan. We we curate it. It is actually an object in the Centennial Museum's collection.
Oh,
And we curate it as a cultural artifact to talk about the Bhutanese people, the Kingdom of Bhutan, and our relationship, most importantly, our relationship with UTEP.
and you do have some students now.
Yes, we have over 50 students
Oh,
every
50
year
now.
from Bhutan. Yes. So
That's a lot.
yeah, so it's a lot of students. But if we get back to that architecture, so as a lot of your listeners probably know, the school started, the College of Mines started at, there we go. There's our first building, Old Main. But even before that, I didn't have a picture of it, but it started on Fort Bliss.
Right.
So we were over on Fort Bliss, the College of Mines, and there was a fire in one of the buildings. And so they moved. They were saying, well, we need to move off. I don't know if the military didn't want them there anymore, but we were being pushed off their land. Land was purchased in the current location from the city and ASARCO, I think.
I believe there was some businessmen who provided some. I've always heard that ASARCO was the provider, but then I've also heard that they were not.
Yes, it is. That part of our history is unclear to me. I've had heard businessmen. I know the land that the Centennial Museum was bought from the city, so the city provided that land.
And that was a little hill originally, and
Yeah.
I guess one of the highest little places
There-
right there.
Right, there were a bunch of little hills, and they kind of nestled the buildings on. So we built the first 4 buildings. We hired the University College of Mines hired Trost and Trost to build the first 4 buildings. There's 3 of them right there. And so when we were buying the land, we bought the land, making the plans. The wife of the dean of the essentially the president of the university, she was looking through National Geographic magazine.
Oh boy.
And in the National Geographic magazine was a spread of photos from the Kingdom of Bhutan. Now, Bhutan, this is 13, 14. I can't remember when the National Geographic article came out, but it's the first time people have seen the Kingdom of Bhutan, at least Westerners,
Even heard about it. Yeah.
even heard about it. And she was just immediately taken aback by it, and she felt that the mountains of Bhutan looked like the mountains of El Paso.
Which they do, yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely some similarities.
Sure,
Probably
yeah.
a little more greener in Bhutan.
Now, what's that a picture of there?
So that is a picture in Bhutan.
Oh,
from-
that's
yeah.
I thought that was part of UTEP.
No, yeah. See, that's it. Well, there's the
That's student
Centennial
housing
Museum.
below.
Yeah, right. But so she was inspired, and when we hired Trost and Trost, they built in that style. And I think it's interesting because Trost started in Chicago. He started in that prairie school. He was under Sullivan for a while, Louis Sullivan in Chicago. He worked. I can't remember if he worked alongside Frank Lloyd Wright, but he had that. It was definitely influential. And so the Bhutanese style is actually very similar to that kind of style that's coming out of the Midwest in the early 20th century. The high, the cantilever, I think they're called cantilever, but the
shape of the roof.
eaves,
And
the
eaves,
roof
yeah.
comes out.
Overhang.
Yeah, overhang. The windows are kind of set back. So it's perfect for a sunny place like El Paso, right? You can get some shade from the sun. The walls are thick, so thicker at the bottom and thinning out at the top. And so the architectural style worked really well. And so the first 3 buildings were built in 1914 and 15, and they're there right there. And there's 3 of the 4, but they set the bar for everythine else we did. Pretty much after that, there were a few, in the 60s, of course, we built Fox Fine Art is a great example of a 60s building. I think it might have been built in the early 70s, but that that architectural style differed, but I think probably 90% of the buildings on campus are in some kind of some kind of Bhutanese style.
There was a discussion about who was going to be the architect, and you had different people trying to get different things. I'm looking at the Remember in El Paso win page, and Dean Worrell was the guy's name, and it was his wife.
Yes, yeah.
That read the National Geographic.
Did I not say her name?
I don't remember.
Catherine Worrell.
Yes.
But he wanted to get an architect of Gibson and Robertson to build a building.
Really? I did not know this.
On UTEP. And then there was the other people. He had a sketch of it actually appeared in the paper. Then Richard Burgess wanted the architect Otto Thurman. He had been a guy who had been doing buildings across El Paso. And didn't he do the Women's Club? I believe he did.
Yes.
Okay, so he was prominent and doing buildings already. And Trost and Trost were there already and doing up-and-coming things. But it was apparently the architect was Tom Lee, the mayor of El Paso at the time,
Sure,
who wanted to have Trost and Trost, apparently.
Really?
So, and I'm reading all this on the Remember in El Paso win page from that was from Margaret Smith, who is a descendant of the Trost family.
Yes.
Well, there were a lot of different architects in the city at that time because El Paso was starting to really boom, and it'd been booming for quite a while, and so you're going to have a lot competition. So it's
but also they were arguing between the mayor and all kinds of people.
Who wanted their favorite? Yeah.
So we have Trost and Trost designing the first few buildings, but they had to keep to that style.
Yes.
Okay, taking a break here. Daniel Carey-Whalen is our guest. He's the director of the Centennial Museum on campus. We're going to hear some things more about we haven't heard enough about the Bhutanese situation, and also the building itself that is I didn't realize that was an exhibit of yours.
Yes.
Okay, that's really cool. And we'll talk about that as well.
All
but
right,
we need to move on and pay some bills here. So we do have some social media cranking up there now.
Yeah, we got Marty Mandingo. She says the Bhutanese altar at UTEP is awesome. Spent days reading library books in front of it. So it's just such a cool little building. You've also got Chris Martin's out there. We've got our usuals from Colorado, Angie Salazar, Maria Barragan. They're all listening in this morning. So.
Interesting stuff here. We'll talk more about that, and we'll take a call if you have a question. We may not be able to answer it, but we'll certainly listen to you. And that number would be
915-544-5876 or 915-544-KTSM.
M1 EP Management. You are listening to a break in our Facebook streaming of the El Paso History Radio Show, which airs live on KTSM AM 690 in El Paso, Texas, and live right here now on our El Paso History Radio Show page on Facebook.com.
Visit Mission Del Rey Southwest for a huge selection of El Paso souvenirs and gifts. Mission Del Rey features El Paso saddle blanket products and thousands of Southwest, Western, Native American, and Mexico items for gifts and decor. Bring your friends and mention you heard us on the radio for a store-wide discount. Mission Del Rey Southwest, 1421 Lee Trevino. Enter on Pelicano. Go to missiondelrey.com or call 915-440-2140 for Mission Del Rey Southwest.
This radio show is now streaming on the Facebook page, Remember in El Paso When, run by Barbara Given-Baney. We still archive the audio of these radio shows on ephistory.com. And you can go there online and find our radio shows for the last several years. Go to ephistory.com and access the El Paso History Radio Show archives for every Saturday radio show back to early 2016.
Many retired El Paso area homeowners don't know where to begin when it comes to downsizing and selling their home. Patrick Tuttle and his Legacy Home team follow a proven process to help retired homeowners sell faster and for more money. Call Patrick Tuttle at 915-588-1850 today and get your home sold faster and for more money. That's Patrick Tuttle at 915-588-1850. Call him today.
El Paso History TV is now available for free on YouTube.com. Take a look at recent AC7 news reports by Bernie Sargent on El Paso History TV about Waco tanks, the Franklin Mountains, Concordia Cemetery, and more. The YouTube channel also has more than 100 videos about El Paso history with lectures, documentaries, and various history clips. Go to youtube.com/El Paso History TV and find out how Texas history begins in El Paso. Monterey Asset Management is proud to sponsor the El Paso History Show. If you're tired of the ups and downs of the stock market, maybe you should invest in real estate. Monterey Asset manages apartments in El Paso and helps investors buy, hold, and sell property. See the new website, m1ep.com, m1ep.com. To learn more about the many benefits and long-term appreciation of investing in real estate, call Certified Property Manager Ray Baca, 915-592-4549, 592-4549.
Here's the deal. When you combine State Farm home and auto insurance, you save an average of $889. State Farm agent Ralph Dickerson is ready to help you combine home and auto and save here in El Paso. Call 915-581-0000 today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Average annual per household savings based on a 2019 national survey by State Farm of new policyholders who reported savings by switching to State Farm.
You are listening to a break in our Facebook streaming of the El Paso History Radio Show, which airs live on KTSM AM 690 in El Paso, Texas, and live with video right here on our El Paso History Radio Show page on Facebook.com. Our live streaming on Facebook started on November 21st, 2020, with our tribute to Leon Metz, which you can now listen to here on our Facebook page, El Paso History Radio Show. Scroll down our page to find that archive in our videos section. You are listening to a break in our Facebook streaming of the El Paso History Radio Show, which airs live on KTSM AM 690 in El Paso, Texas, and live right here now on our El Paso History Radio Show page on Facebook.com.
Visit Mission Del Rey Southwest for a huge selection of El Paso souvenirs and gifts. Mission Del Rey features El Paso saddle blanket products and thousands of Southwest, Western, Native American, and Mexico items for gifts and decor. Bring your friends and mention you heard us on the radio for a store-wide discount. Mission Del Rey Southwest, 1421 Lee Trevino. Enter on Pelicano. Go to missiondelrey.com or call 915-440-2140 for Mission Del Rey Southwest.
This radio show is now streaming on the Facebook page, Remember in El Paso When, run by Barbara Given Bainey. We still archive the audio of these radio shows on ephistory.com. And you can go there online and find our radio shows for the last several years. Go to ephistory.com and access the El Paso History Radio Show archives for every Saturday radio show back to early 2016.
Many retired El Paso area homeowners don't know where to begin when it...
Jackson here. We're winging our way through history. That's what we're doing this morning. And just to let you know, we do have, of course, the radio show is featured on Facebook, El Paso History Radio Show. And you can go there to take a look at our weekly promo announcements of the topics coming up. And also we have a TV channel. It's El Paso History on YouTube. So go to youtube.com and it's /El Paso History TV. Just go to YouTube and look us up, El Paso History TV. And I've got a dozen of my DVDs I produced over the years that are on there explaining El Paso history, as well as a 20-segment series on ABC7 that we produced and put that on. And those are really kind of informative. They're really interesting. And you can find out a lot about El Paso history just by doing that kind of stuff. And that's youtube.com/El Paso History. What do you got?
Well, with this cold weather, I suggest you head over to Pepe's Restaurant in Canutillo for a big bowl of their wonderful chili or chicken sopa, which is my favorite. And it'll definitely warm you up. Pepe's is located at 6761 Donovan Drive, or you can call to get an order to go at 915-877-2152.
I plan to be there today. How about yourself?
I don't think we're going to make it because we have a meeting coming up after.
Not going to make it. All right. Then, Danny, you said you're going to take your son out to lunch, but maybe not Pepe's.
Yeah, that's right. He probably wants to go to McDonald's or something, unfortunately.
Cheap date.
Well, I will tell you, Pepe's doesn't have toys. You can't get a Happy Meal.
They have burgers. They have burgers and fries.
Yeah, but they don't have toys.
Yeah.
Bottom line,
Well, he's in middle school, so
maybe
not the toys.
past the toys.
It's more of
just he likes going to burger. Yeah.
Exactly.
Big burger. Fair enough. Daniel Carey-Whalen, director of the Centennial Museum on campus, and we'll hear some about that history in a bit. We're focusing on the first part of the program. We've got about 4 minutes in this segment left, 5 minutes, and what we're going to talk about is basically the additional information about Bhutan. Again, spell it for him. Bhutan.
Bhutan.
When I first heard that, I thought that's where the butane lighters came from. But no, that's not right.
I had a set of butane. Yes.
No, we don't have that. But Bhutan is a country bordering China and India. You said.
Yes. So back to that 1914 article, National Geographic. Kathleen Worrell, the president's wife, is reading the article. She says, let's do the architecture of this new campus, UTEP, in this style. And the first 4 buildings are in this style. The buildings after that are being built in that style, including the Centennial Museum in 1936, which we're going to get to in the future, later on.
Yeah, later and what you got up there now is
Old Main.
and
that's Old Main. That the plaque on the front says that it is the first building, but from my understanding, they were built pretty much simultaneously.
Okay, but it was the first one they put a plaque on.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
That makes it official, Daniel.
Exactly. I know.
Daniel, that's official.
So, the relationship, a lot of people are like, oh, well, that's kind of odd or strange that you'd build in this style that's not even from this area. And then on this tenuous relationship. But to me, I think it's a great story, and it starts this ball rolling because it's in the 60s that we really start building a relationship with the Kingdom of Bhutan.
We'll talk about the style for a minute. Is there any other universities you're aware of that has a singular style throughout the campus? I guess there may be.
I went to the University of Kansas in Lawrence, Kansas, and it had all of these. It looked very German. It had these kind of red roofs. It's common. You think of like the schools in the East, all the Ivy League schools that have ivy on the outside.
They really have ivy?
Yeah, and they're I don't know if the Ivy Leagues really have ivy, but they have a lot of ivy on a lot of those buildings. They have a quad, right? It's a kind of compact building. They're in like a Greek or Romanesque style, right?
Yeah.
But I think it's great that not only did we choose this different style, but we've kind of taken it. We keep moving away from what everyone else wants to do. This is very UTEP, right? What everyone else is trying to do, we're going to do it in our own way. And so we have this amazing architectural style. Our landscape, when we did the campus transformation, which brought the Lekong to UTEP, we did it all in Chihuahuan Desert landscape.
Yeah, plantings.
So we're not trying to replicate some Eastern school someplace not here, right? And
it is refreshing to go look at that.
It is,
and realize what's on. And behind you there, we do have. I'm not sure you can see it in the picture, but the upper area there is that's Old Main up there.
Old Main right there.
We have that as part of our history on where we say Texas history begins in El Paso, right above your head. And then there's Old Main again. But Old Main, it's got several departments in there, I think.
Well, right now it's just the sociology anthropology department.
Okay.
But it was an administration building. The Centennial Museum actually started in the basement there. At least the collections that ultimately, some of the collections ultimately came to the Centennial Museum were in the basement there. So engineering was in there for a while because we were a college of mines, right? Like a lot of different departments were in there. When they renovated it, I think they renovated about 15 years ago or so. And I think after that, it just became lots of classrooms, but sociology and anthropology are in there. David lots of bones, dead bodies in there. I'm sure David Carmichael, the anthropologist or archaeologist, is in there.
His body's down there.
Not yet.
He's got him lined up in his closet.
I do have a question real quick. It came from Alex Mina, and he was wondering if there are any books which cover the architecture of UTEP's buildings and the Bhutanese influence.
Yes, there is. Well, actually, if you go to, there's a great website on UTEP's website that talks about our architecture history. And there it actually has a bibliography of several books about Bhutan.
So how do you find it? UTEP.edu and then keep going?
I think if you probably went it, UTEP.edu
and then search.
I found the link. I'll put it on Facebook.
Or Bhutan, maybe, yeah.
Maybe Bhutanese architecture.
You found it?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
It's utep.edu/about/Bhutan.
About Bhutan. Okay.
Yeah. So if you just kind of did I did a quick Google search on our UTEP architecture. That's where it took
There you are. All right, Daniel Carey-Whalen's in the house. We're going to talk more. Taking a break now on the El Paso History Radio Show. We shall be back in a moment. Pepe's New Mexican Restaurant. You are listening to a break in our Facebook streaming of the El Paso History Radio Show, which airs live on KTSM AM 690 in El Paso, Texas, and live right here now on our El Paso History Radio Show page on Facebook.com.
Visit Mission Del Rey Southwest for a huge selection of El Paso souvenirs and gifts. Mission Del Rey features El Paso saddle blanket products and thousands of Southwest, Western, Native American, and Mexico items for gifts and decor. Bring your friends and mention you heard us on the radio for a store-wide discount. Mission Del Rey Southwest, 1421 Lee Trevino. Enter on Pelicano. Go to missiondelrey.com or call 915-440-2140 for Mission Del Rey Southwest.
This radio show is now streaming on the Facebook page, Remember in El Paso When, run by Barbara Given Bainey. We still archive the audio of these radio shows on ephistory.com, and you can go there online and find our radio shows for the last several years. Go to ephistory.com and access the El Paso History Radio Show archives for every Saturday radio show back to early 2016.
Many retired El Paso area homeowners don't know where to begin when it comes to downsizing and selling their home. Patrick Tuttle and his legacy home team follow a proven process to help retired homeowners sell faster and for more money. Call Patrick Tuttle at 915-588-1850 today and get your home sold faster and for more money. That's Patrick Tuttle at 915-588-1850. Call him today.
El Paso History TV is now available for free on YouTube.com. Take a look at recent ABC 7 news reports by Bernie Sargent on El Paso History TV about Waco tanks, the Franklin Mountains, Concordia Cemetery, and more. The YouTube channel also has more than 100 videos about El Paso history with lectures, documentaries, and various history clips. Go to youtube.com/El Paso History TV and find out how Texas history begins in El Paso. Monterey Asset Management is proud to sponsor the El Paso History Show. If you're tired of the ups and downs of the stock market, maybe you should invest in real estate. Monterey Asset manages apartments in El Paso and helps investors buy, hold, and sell property. See the new website, m1ep.com, m1ep.com. To learn more about the many benefits and long-term appreciation of investing in real estate, call Certified Property Manager Ray Baca, 915-592-4549, 592-4549.
Here's the deal. When you combine State Farm home and auto insurance, you save an average of $889. State Farm agent Ralph Dickerson is ready to help you combine home and auto and save here in El Paso. Call 915-581-0000 today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Average annual per household savings based on a 2019 national survey by State Farm of new policyholders who reported savings by switching to State Farm.
You are listening to a break in our Facebook streaming of the El Paso History Radio Show, which airs live on KTSM AM 690 in El Paso, Texas, and live with video right here on our El Paso History Radio Show page on Facebook.com. Our live streaming on Facebook started on November 21st, 2020, with our tribute to Leon Metz, which you can now listen to here on our Facebook page, El Paso History Radio Show. Scroll down our page to find that archive in our videos section. You are listening to a break in our Facebook streaming of the El Paso History Radio Show, which airs live on KTSM AM 690 in El Paso, Texas, and live right here now on our El Paso History Radio Show page on Facebook.com.
Visit Mission Del Rey Southwest for a huge selection of El Paso souvenirs and gifts. Mission Del Rey features El Paso saddle blanket products and thousands of Southwest, Western, Native American, and Mexico items for gifts and decor. Bring your friends and mention you heard us on the radio for a store-wide discount. Mission Del Rey Southwest, 1421 Lee Trevino. Enter on Pelicano. Go to missiondelrey.com or call 915-440-2140 for Mission Del Rey Southwest.
This radio show is now streaming on the Facebook page, Remember in El Paso When, run by Barbara Given Bainey. We still archive the audio of these radio shows on ephistory.com. And you can go there online and find our radio shows for the last several years. Go to ephistory.com and access the El Paso History Radio Show archives for every Saturday radio show back to early 2016.
Many retired El Paso area homeowners don't know where to begin when it comes to downsizing and selling their home. Patrick Tuttle and his legacy home team follow a proven process to help retired homeowners sell faster and for more money. Call Patrick Tuttle at 915-588-1850 today and get your home sold faster and for more money. That's Patrick Tuttle at 915-588-1850. Call him today.
El Paso History TV is now available for free on YouTube.com. Take a look at recent ABC7 news reports by Bernie Sargent on El Paso History TV about Waco Tanks, the Franklin Mountains, Concordia Cemetery, and more. The YouTube channel also has more than 100 videos about El Paso history with lectures, documentaries, and various history clips. Go to youtube.com/El Paso History TV and find out how Texas history begins in El Paso.
Monterey Asset Management is proud. We're talking basically UTEP history and what's on campus and a few things about it. We're getting a lot of inquiries on our Facebook page about the DeSoto Hotel that burned down last night. Andrew, you're going to take that on your show on Talk El Paso Monday through Friday. You'll take it on next week from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m., correct?
Yeah, we'll definitely be talking about that. We actually had Marky Mandingo commenting today, alert us during our program yesterday that was going on, a big fire downtown, and clearly has progressed throughout the night and into today. So to my understanding, the investigation's still going on at this point, so we'll definitely get into it because that's a serious major local event that we'll get into on Talk El Paso coming up here on Monday.
ABC7 did quite an extensive coverage of that with several live shots at the same time. Anyway, so that's something we're not going to take off here this morning, but we're getting inquiries. Look at Andrew's show on Monday, and that's here on 690 AM KTSM, and that'll be at 4 o'clock on Monday. All right, Celebration of Our Mountains. We're going to talk about them for a minute. Celebrationofourmountains.org. Jim Tolbert is the Chief Executive Officer, and you can get a hold of him at 915-525-7364. They've got a bunch of things coming up where they go out on location to Three Rivers Petroglyph. There's a biggie coming there. Slot Canyon in Leesburg, New Mexico. Kilburn Hole Volcanic Crater, and a birding trip to Ascarity Park. So there's a lot to do there. What do you got?
Well, Monterey Asset Management is now M1EP Management Corporation, and the principal certified property manager is Mike Baca. And so you can visit their website at m1ep.com or give them a call at 915-591-3303 to learn more about their services. And we want you to give a call to this number, which is 915-588-1850, so you can talk to Patrick Tuttle of Caldwell Banker Heritage Real Estate. Patrick is a top-selling realtor and is the person to go to buy, sell, or rent a home. So give Patrick Tuttle a call today at 915-588-1850.
Good guy for real estate. Get a hold of him. All right, Daniel Carey-Whalen's in the house. We were talking more about the Bhutan direction that UTEP took, restating back in early 1900, mid 1914.
Yes, but I think those buildings were built in 1917.
But the idea to do them,
was even earlier
because there was a burnout over of the College of Mines
relating to the fire. There was a fire in one of the buildings that was on the Fort Bliss campus, and that building burnt down, and that's why it moved to its current location. Before we go too far, and you mentioned Jim Tolbert and Celebrate Our Mountains, I will be giving a tour of the Lekong. I mean, isn't this good? On
good timing.
Saturday, March 5th, a month from today. Celebrate Our Mountains will be meeting at UTEP at the Lekong. We'll be doing a tour, about an hour and a half tour of the Lekong, and all of this history that you're hearing today. You can hear in situ and learn about this cultural artifact.
We have up there, a picture of the Lekong now on campus.
Yes.
Go ahead, Melissa.
Well, just a question I wanted to go back to was on the students that come from Bhutan to go to school here. Don't we have students that go like an exchange also?
We
are used to?
We have had some exchanges, not a formal exchange.
Yeah.
I too thought it was more like that. We've had students go over there. Usually it's for kind of more specialized trips. So the Opera Bhutan was a great example where we were bringing, music students over there. But I do know students have gone over there. It seems to be more, it's less of an exchange and more of kind of individuals who are
just specifically wanting to go, or maybe architecture students.
Are they going to build any buildings like UTEP over there?
Well, I have.
They started this. Hey, why should they?
I've heard that that architects from Bhutan have come to UTEP to see how we do buildings here, right? Because they're wanting to modernize at least some of the interiors. So all the things that we've done here with their architecture, they're very interested in and are wanting to bring some ideas back.
We have the Lekong ready to go up online here. Let's take a look at that again. because that's the focus we're talking about at the moment.
It is, yes.
The Bhutanese history
Yes.
is in the architecture, but this has got their philosophy.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
So Buddhism, I think about 90% of Bhutan is Buddhist. It's a Tibetan Buddhism, and which is a Buddhism. There we go. Is a great image. Is full of iconography. I describe it as kind of the Catholicism of Buddhism, right? It's very ornate. I mean, you think of all of the kind of well, in Catholicism, like Buddhism, Tibetan Buddhism, and Zen Buddhism, Catholicism, and Quakerism, right? Like, that's kind of the scale, the sliding scale we're dealing with. Catholicism and Tibetan Buddhism having lots of iconography, lots of this great imagery that's going to you're going to go in and be reminded of all these stories that that you've heard from childhood, as opposed to Zen Buddhism and like Quakerism, the kind of austerity, right? You could be in a barn. A Quaker could go to a barn, and it would be their sanctuary, right? I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend.
It's
I don't want to
it's difficult.
offend Quakers.
Well, I love their oats.
Yeah, sure. But that there's this. So it's a very elaborate form of Buddhism, and so it's just a joy to see the inside, just all beautiful. The paintings are just amazing. The woodwork, everything was in the building is hand carved. That's the altar there that you're seeing now. It's hand carved by these Bhutanese students, apprentices. They said that the average age of the students, this whole thing was built in Bhutan. And shipped over here for the Smithsonian Folklife Festival, which we can get to later on. But these are artisans that have worked their whole life creating paintings, creating woodwork, and they're telling the story of Buddha and how Buddhism comes to Bhutan through Guru Rinpoche is the person who brings Buddhism to Bhutan, and just beautiful stories and sharing their history, their as you said, the kind of philosophies of life. Wisdom and compassion are these two kind of core tenets of Buddhism that I think reflect really well in what UTEP's all about. We're a university. We are a place of wisdom, hopefully. They're
Theoretically.
Students are coming here to learn, but also it's that compassion side as well that I think UTEP is a special place. It differs from a lot of other institutions of higher ed in the United States. And it's because of this compassion. I think you saw it these last few years during the pandemic that UTEP cares, right? That really kind of trying to take care of our own people. Well, Buddhism is, those tenets. They say that wisdom and compassion are two wings of a bird, that you have to have both in order to fly.
Yeah.
And so it's not enough just to be wise to reach enlightenment, right? That's the goal. The goal in Buddhism is to reach enlightenment. But you have to have compassion for your fellow human beings, right? And so it's a very, very down to earth religion. I think very practical. Yeah. The Bhutanese people, I've gotten to know a lot of the Bhutanese students. In fact, we were just on a tour yesterday with the president. She had some distinguished guests, and we're giving them a tour, and 3 Bhutanese students were there. And I love getting a tour with them because I just learn so much more about their culture.
What's their native language?
I don't know. I can't remember what it's called. And I think that if I did try to read it, I would.
It's unique.
I was just looking this up, and it's like, there's a couple of different ones. They have 3 different languages: Tashanglas, Naglaps, and Lotshamats.
I wonder
I know I'm butchering that totally.
How does that translate into English? Oh my goodness.
Well, that was English. But yeah, no, I posted another site that talks about Bhutan and the people and the religion and their,
That's
kind
good.
of a travel type thing.
And you posted that on our Facebook
Yes,
page.
I did.
Fair enough. Well, the Bhutan is an interesting direction and a history for UTEP, but I do think we've stated this, but it's unique.
Yeah,
obviously. Now, I think when they built the Sun Bowl originally, the Sun Bowl was not in the architecture style. I think that's been corrected, hasn't it?
Yes, right. So many buildings were afterwards. We kind of re-embraced this
style.
Probably in the last 30 years. I think definitely Diana Natalicio had a lot to do with that.
Well, you talk about compassion and wisdom. You mentioned her.
Yeah, exactly.
And a hard driving boss as well. I understand.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. But great boss. But yeah, she embodies wisdom and compassion. But she really took what she was, that relationship, and just built it more and more. We started getting students from Bhutan in the late 70s, and really started, as I said earlier, kind of building that relationship in the 60s and 70s with the King of Bhutan. We started getting students in the 70s, but then under Natalicio, we just started getting more and more, and now we're at 50 every year, pretty much.
Oh, that's a
It's
lot.
funny you mentioned the King of Bhutan. Wasn't there a prince, I believe, that went to school here in the 80s, if I'm correct, 80s or 90s?
Yes, that's my understanding too. And my understanding is that when if you go to Bhutan, that there's just miners everywhere, right? They're going most of
miners.
The miners, right? The Bhutanese students go back to Bhutan,
and this is their
and
school.
They wear UTEP colors.
They wear
on.
UTEP.
Yeah, like hook 'em and the Red Raiders and such. They've got their miners.
Well, I wonder if UTEP has been recognized by the State Department, anybody for their outreach, because this is a whole different thing to do than most people.
Yeah,
I mean, university is not known for taking on a country,
right?
And they have.
I think we really, I don't know if they have, but I think they haven't enough. That's for sure, because it's really an amazing story. And it's a model, I think, that could be replicated in other places, and it just builds. I think it just builds this. It makes us more of an international community. We're already an international community.
I went to 1 year UTEP. It was a fabulous event. The campus is pretty long and in places when you got to get from one side to the other in a class.
Right.
And we'll talk more about that in a minute when with the layout of the campus as well. We should mention that. Taking a break here on the El Paso History Radio Show. We got stuff going on Facebook. Yes.
Yes, we do. In fact, I was just correcting somebody's writing on something. Chris Marston said it's like the monstrosity. I think he meant the monastery.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to correct that for some other people out there.
What do you got? Anything from you? You got...
I think he did mean monstrosity in that case, because there were some interesting buildings and formations outside of part of campus there. But a lot of commentary about some of the older buildings here. Evelyn Chisari mentioning that she's on her way to Mission Del Rey right now as well. Yeah,
I was going to save that one for the commercial.
Well, we can talk about it. You go to Mission Del Rey, you'll find all kinds of interesting El Pasos. That's a whole different ballgame. All right, we should take a break here on the radio El Paso History Radio Show. Back in just a moment.
Yeah, I was saying.
M1 EP Management Corporation. You are listening to a break in our Facebook streaming of the El Paso History Radio Show, which airs live on KTSM AM 690 in El Paso, Texas, and live right here now on our El Paso History Radio Show page on Facebook.com.
Visit Mission Del Rey Southwest for a huge selection of El Paso souvenirs and gifts. Mission Del Rey features El Paso saddle blanket products and thousands of Southwest, Western, Native American, and Mexico items for gifts and decor. Bring your friends and mention you heard us on the radio for a store-wide discount. Mission Del Rey Southwest, 1421 Lee Trevino. Enter on Pelicano. Go to missiondelrey.com or call 915-440-2140 for Mission Del Rey Southwest.
This radio show is now streaming on the Facebook page, Remember in El Paso When, run by Barbara Given Bainey. We still archive the audio of these radio shows on ephistory.com. And you can go there online and find our radio shows for the last several years. Go to ephistory.com and access the El Paso History Radio Show archives for every Saturday radio show back to early 2016.
Many retired El Paso area homeowners don't know where to begin when it comes to downsizing and selling their home. Patrick Tuttle and his legacy home team follow a proven process to help retired homeowners sell faster and for more money. Call Patrick Tuttle at 915-588-1850 today and get your home sold faster and for more money. That's Patrick Tuttle at 915-588-1850. Call him today.
El Paso History TV is now available for free on YouTube.com. Take a look at recent ABC 7 news reports by Bernie Sargent on El Paso History TV about Waco tanks, the Franklin Mountains, Concordia Cemetery, and more. The YouTube channel also has more than 100 videos about El Paso history with lectures, documentaries, and various history clips. Go to youtube.com/El Paso History TV and find out how Texas history begins in El Paso. Monterey Asset Management is proud to sponsor the El Paso History Show. If you're tired of the ups and downs of the stock market, maybe you should invest in real estate. Monterey Asset manages apartments in El Paso and helps investors buy, hold, and sell property. See the new website, m1ep.com, m1ep.com. To learn more about the many benefits and long-term appreciation of investing in real estate, call Certified Property Manager Ray Baca, 915-592-4549, 592-4549.
Here's the deal. When you combine State Farm home and auto insurance, you save an average of $889. State Farm agent Ralph Dickerson is ready to help you combine home and auto and save here in El Paso. Call 915-581-0000 today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Average annual per household savings based on a 2019 national survey by State Farm of new policyholders who reported savings by switching to State Farm.
You are listening to a break in our Facebook streaming of the El Paso History Radio Show, which airs live on KTSM AM 690 in El Paso, Texas, and live with video right here on our El Paso History Radio Show page on Facebook.com. Our live streaming on Facebook started on November 21st, 2020, with our tribute to Leon Metz, which you can now listen to here on our Facebook page, El Paso History Radio Show. Scroll down our page to find that archive in our videos section. You are listening to a break in our Facebook streaming of the El Paso History Radio Show, which airs live on KTSM AM 690 in El Paso, Texas, and live right here now on our El Paso History Radio Show page. We're going to let you know that there is a service called Talk and Rock Radio run by Rick Kern, and it is an interesting music history of El Paso, talkandrockradio.com. Rod Crosby is going to be his guest next week. Rod Crosby and the Intruders, an institution there in El Paso music. It really is.
Well, just one of our Facebook writer listeners is following along with the show, and she was talking about she's on her way to Mission Del Rey, and this is Evelyn Chisari, and she says the folks in North Carolina where her family is just love their wonderful artifacts from the Southwest. Items from Bhutan, well, not so much. So I don't know if they have any there of those, but we want to just remind everyone that Mission Del Rey has knocked out some walls, and in the store they've added the new alpaca room, featuring soft plush alpaca blankets, capes, shawls, throws, and other cold weather items, which I'm sure we could all use right now. And if you're also interested in a bargain, then visit the clearance section, which includes scratched and dented items, as well as closeouts. So you can shop online at missiondelrey.com or visit their store located at 1421 Lee Trevino Suite A7.
Interesting history there as well, because they have all kinds of interesting things from the jewelry department from places all over the Southwest.
Oh, and I forgot to don't forget to mention the El Paso History Radio Show to get your discount.
There you go. We'll get a discount there. Evelyn, discount. Mention the radio show. Okay. Evelyn's a good old buddy of mine from high
I'm
school.
sure she does.
Oh, yeah. No, Daniel Carey-Whalen's here. We've got a director of Centennial Museum. We're going to talk more about the Folklife Festival because we really haven't touched on that.
No.
And that was something that really was a grand opening, so to speak, to America for the Bhutanese people, and somebody paid for. I don't know who paid for it, but somebody they brought the temple that you now have at UTEP to the mall.
And in Washington D.C. So is the 2008 Folklife Festival. There's a picture of it right there. Every year. So this is the 42nd. 2008 was the 42nd annual Folklife Festival. They've been doing it every year. They didn't do it the last 2 years because of COVID, but they're going to bring it back this summer, hopefully. But every year they try to get three entities. The year that 2008, the three entities were the Folklife of Bhutan, the folk life of Texas, and then the folk life of NASA. Now, I'm not sure what the folk life of NASA is. Maybe Tang, but
I saw on our Facebook page there was a guy who, Bill Avila, said they did some of the Mexican food that they had at Avila's, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Uh-huh.
So anyway,
Okay, yeah.
all right. And so we'll get to more about this in the second hour.
Sure.
Oh, I wanted to fill in something though. You were wondering how it ended up here from the Folk Festival. UTEP. It was donated to UTEP by the Asia Society after being exhibited in New York City.
Interesting stuff. And so you're talking about the building itself.
The building is the
Yeah.
Lekong, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And also,
Lekong.
you have a virtual tour of that somewhere
We
on a
do.
website.
On our website, the Centennial Museum website, if you go on UTEP's website, type in Centennial Museum or Lekong, LHAKHANG, you will find a virtual Lekong. You can see this. We during the pandemic, when we were shut down as a museum, we hired a gentleman to come in with a 360 camera, and he filmed
Mass Mutual
everything.
knows retirement can be an uncomfortable conversation.
Are we out of here now?
I think so.
You are.
Who's gonna take care of us when we retire?
It's gonna be you.
Okay, we almost had a commercial there. We'll get to that in a second. It's going to be you. Look out.
That's my
Anyway,
favorite commercial.
well, let's go. We'll take a break here. We're about about half a minute there, Andrew. We're into the break, are we?
Retirement today.
All
Feel
right.
comfortable about tomorrow. Mass Mutual. Live mutual.
You want us to talk?
We can still talk about the virtual Lekong in the next hour. We can talk more about the Folklife Festival in the next hour.
Details coming up after the news. Stick with us. We'll play something, either a commercial or whatever. See you then. You are listening to a break in our Facebook streaming of the El Paso History Radio Show, which airs live on KTSM AM 690 in El Paso, Texas, and live right here now on our El Paso History Radio Show page on Facebook.com.
Visit Mission Del Rey Southwest for a huge selection of El Paso souvenirs and gifts. Mission Del Rey features El Paso saddle blanket products and thousands of Southwest, Western, Native American, and Mexico items for gifts and decor. Bring your friends and mention you heard us on the radio for a store-wide discount. Mission Del Rey Southwest, 1421 Lee Trevino. Enter on Pelicano. Go to missiondelrey.com or call 915-440-2140 for Mission Del Rey Southwest.
This radio show is now streaming on the Facebook page Remember in El Paso When, run by Barbara Given-Baney. We still archive the audio of these radio shows on ephistory.com, and you can go there online and find our radio shows for the last several years. Go to ephistory.com and access the El Paso History Radio Show archives for every Saturday radio show back to early 2016.
Many retired El Paso area homeowners don't know where to begin when it comes to downsizing and selling their home. Patrick Tuttle and his Legacy Home team follow a proven process to help retired homeowners sell faster and for more money. Call Patrick Tuttle at 915-588-1850 today and get your home sold faster and for more money. That's Patrick Tuttle at 915-588-1850. Call him today.
El Paso History TV is now available for free on YouTube.com. Take a look at recent ABC7 news reports by Bernie Sargent on El Paso History TV about Waco tanks, the Franklin Mountains, Concordia Cemetery, and more. The YouTube channel also has more than 100 videos about El Paso history with lectures, documentaries, and various history clips. Go to youtube.com/El Paso History TV and find out how Texas history begins in El Paso. Monterey Asset Management is proud to sponsor the El Paso History Show. If you're tired of the ups and downs of the stock market, maybe you should invest in real estate. Monterey Asset manages apartments in El Paso and helps investors buy, hold, and sell property. See the new website, m1ep.com, m1ep.com. To learn more about the many benefits and long-term appreciation of investing in real estate, call Certified Property Manager Ray Baca, 915-592-4549, 592-4549.
Here's the deal. When you combine State Farm home and auto insurance, you save an average of $889. State Farm agent Ralph Dickerson is ready to help you combine home and auto and save here in El Paso. Call 915-581-0000 today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Average annual per household savings based on a 2019 national survey by State Farm of new policyholders who reported savings by switching to State Farm.
You are listening to a break in our Facebook streaming of the El Paso History Radio Show, which airs live on KTSM AM 690 in El Paso, Texas, and live with video right here on our El Paso History Radio Show page on Facebook.com. Our live streaming on Facebook started on November 21st, 2020, with our tribute to Leon Metz, which you can now listen to here on our Facebook page, El Paso History Radio Show. Scroll down our page to find that archive in our videos section. You are listening to a break in our Facebook streaming of the El Paso History Radio Show, which airs live on KTSM AM 690 in El Paso, Texas, and live right here now on our El Paso History Radio Show page on Facebook.com.
Visit Mission Del Rey Southwest for a huge selection of El Paso souvenirs and gifts. Mission Del Rey features El Paso saddle blanket products and thousands of Southwest, Western, Native American, and Mexico items for gifts and decor. Bring your friends and mention you heard us on the radio for a store-wide discount. Mission Del Rey Southwest, 1421 Lee Trevino. Enter on Pelicano. Go to missiondelrey.com or call 915-440-2140 for Mission Del Rey Southwest.
This radio show is now streaming on the Facebook page, Remember in El Paso When, run by Barbara Given-Baney. We still archive the audio of these radio shows on ephistory.com. And you can go there online and find our radio shows for the last several years. Go to ephistory.com and access the El Paso History Radio Show archives for every Saturday radio show back to early 2016.
Many retired El Paso area homeowners don't know where to begin when it comes to downsizing and selling their home. Patrick Tuttle and his legacy home team follow a proven process to help retired homeowners sell faster and for more money. Call Patrick Tuttle at 915-588-1850 today and get your home sold faster and for more money. That's Patrick Tuttle at 915-588-1850. Call him today.
El Paso History TV is now available for free on YouTube.com. Take a look at recent ABC 7 news reports by Bernie Sargent on El Paso History TV about Waco tanks, the Franklin Mountains, Concordia Cemetery, and more. The YouTube channel also has more than 100 videos about El Paso history with lectures, documentaries, and various history clips. Go to youtube.com/El Paso History TV and find out how Texas history begins in El Paso. Monterey Asset Management is proud to sponsor the El Paso History Show. If you're tired of the ups and downs of the stock market, maybe you should invest in real estate. Monterey Asset manages apartments in El Paso and helps investors buy, hold, and sell property. See the new website, m1ep.com, m1ep.com. To learn more about the many benefits and long-term appreciation of investing in real estate, call Certified Property Manager Ray Baca, 915-592-4549, 592-4549.
Here's the deal. When you combine State Farm home and auto insurance, you save an average of $889. State Farm agent Ralph Dickerson is ready to help you combine home and auto and save here in El Paso. Call 915-581-0000 today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Average annual per household savings based on a 2019 national survey by State Farm of new policyholders who reported savings by switching to State Farm.
You are listening to a break in our Facebook streaming of the El Paso History Radio Show, which airs live on KTSM AM 690 in El Paso, Texas, and live with video right here on our El Paso History Radio Show page on Facebook.com. Our live streaming on Facebook started on November 21st, 2020, with our tribute to Leon Metz, which you can now listen to here on our Facebook page, El Paso History Radio Show. Scroll down our page to find that archive in our videos section. You are listening to a break in our Facebook streaming of the El Paso History Radio Show, which airs live on KTSM AM 690 in El Paso, Texas, and live right here now on our El Paso History Radio Show page on Facebook.com.
Visit Mission Del Rey Southwest for a huge selection of El Paso souvenirs and gifts. Mission Del Rey features El Paso saddle blanket products and thousands of Southwest, Western, Native American, and Mexico items for gifts and decor. Bring your friends and mention you heard us on the radio for a store-wide discount. Mission Del Rey Southwest, 1421 Lee Trevino. Enter on Pelicano. Go to missiondelrey.com or call 915-440-2140 for Mission Del Rey Southwest.
This radio show is now streaming on the Facebook page, Remember in El Paso When, run by Barbara Given-Baney. We still archive the audio of these radio shows on ephistory.com. And you can go there online and find our radio shows for the last several years. Go to ephistory.com and access the El Paso History Radio Show archives for every Saturday radio show back to early 2016.
Many retired El Paso area homeowners don't know where to begin when it comes to downsizing and selling their home. Patrick Tuttle and his Legacy Home team follow a proven process to help retire.
As we begin hour 2 here, we're going to do an El Paso History Moment produced by Melissa Sargent for the El Paso History Alliance page on Facebook. And her story today is an overview about a World War II part of UTEP history.
World War II vets returned to the classroom. June 13th, 1944, Congress passed the Servicemen's Readjustment Act. The new law, better known as the GI Bill, allowed veterans to pursue a college education after having served their country in the war that defined their generation. The Texas College of Mines helped the surge of veteran students enrolling, many of whom had families, by constructing a small vet village that would accommodate about 20 families on the southern end of the campus in 1946 in an area known then as Wiggins Acres. Vet Village even had an elected mayor and committees. They participated in inter-campus sporting events against fraternities, and the conventional students on campus also offered veterans help in various ways, like vet husband and wives were invited to school events, and the students even volunteered their time giving children rides to the Sunday schools of their choice. It was originally believed that the Vet Village would only be necessary until the veterans from World War II had completed their education, but soon, veterans from the Korean War were moving into the accommodations which had previously housed others who had graduated. Although the living conditions were somewhat difficult, there were advantages to the soldiers that would have been otherwise unavailable. More history next week on El Paso History Moments. I'm Melissa Sargent for the El Paso History Alliance.
We were sitting and talking about this as it was running. None of us know where it was.
That's what I'm looking at.
If you have a thought out there, you might call us 544-5876. That's a 915. Because I know
Maternity Row was another name for it.
I know a guy. It was on Fraternity Row.
Maternity.
They called it Maternity Row.
Oh yeah,
yes.
Well, that's another matter. I know a guy. We met Elias Bonilla. Actually, was in that, and he's an historian in recent years in El Paso. Anyway, you do this for the History Moment. Is done for the History Alliance page on Facebook. A lot of followers there, and I don't think they police it all the time. They just let anybody in who wants to come in, right?
I believe. I'm not quite sure of the rules myself. I mean, they let me in, so I guess I'll let anyone.
There you go.
But if you enjoy all the El Paso history you hear here, and you want to learn more about the history, you need to visit these 2 Facebook pages. And one is the El Paso History Alliance, a group of historians who promote the architectural history and culture of El Paso, and is managed by Max Grossman and Mark Stone. And of course, Remember in El Paso Win, with thousands of pictures, stories, and much more, managed by Barbara Given-Bainey and her team of volunteer editors for the page.
And they do very well. I think that's one of the better pages on Facebook for El Paso. You agree?
Yes,
Daniel.
I would agree.
The archive pictures they have are fabulous.
Amazing.
And if you use them, just to give them credit, if you would. But they chief admin is Barbara Given-Bainey, and admins are Rick Duncan, Rick Nahara, Margaret D. Smith, historian, and Paul Louie. And moderators are Ben Vincent and Ken Weiss. And they do a great job of policing their site. If you can't explain to them why you want to get on, they don't let you on. So I mean, you guys.
Well, they don't want to get trolls.
Well, that's just it. They don't want a lot of extra people. So it's a quality. It's a quality group of people on there. Anyway, that's what we have there. All right, talking about UTEP history in Bhutan. Where were we? We were going to talk about the Folklife Festival and what happened there. Because what is the Folklife Festival in Washington D.C.?
Yeah, so every year that was the 42nd year in 2008. They display the folk life of, usually it's one country in one state and then some other entity. And so this was a chance for the world to learn about Bhutan. I mean, it's equivalent to the National Geographic article in 1914, right? And so the Bhutanese, they started working, the Smithsonian starts working with I think in 2002, they started reaching out, talking to Bhutan. What do you want to do? How do you want to tell your story? And it's through food, it's through dance, it's through art, it's through architecture, right? Well, the Bhutanese say, well, we want to build a lakang. We want to build a temple
on the mall.
And on the mall, this is a 2-week celebration, right? On the mall for 2 weeks every summer. But immediately the Smithsonian is like, no way. I mean, this is for 2 weeks. You can't build something for 2 weeks and tear it down. And we'll give you, can you do a wall? Can you do, some other thing to show off art and culture? And the Bhutanese were persistent. And they said, if you want to know about our culture, of who we are, we need to build this building. And they were relentless, and they got it done. And this is especially amazing because in Bhutan, they don't use nails. All of it's like a big Jenga puzzle. It's just fitted together. And so, you have that kind of that folk life in Bhutan will come over to the litigious United States, right? And we have all these codes and ADA. And I mean, I'm not saying bad things about these things, but obviously I appreciate all the codes that we have that keep our buildings safe. But there was definitely clashes of culture, but they worked them all out. And so they built this building most of it was constructed in Bhutan and shipped over in pieces. But when I talked to Preston Scott, who is the Smithsonian liaison that kind of shepherded all this through, he was saying that everything got stuck in the port in India, and it wasn't able to leave India, and it came late to DC, and they were working overtime to assemble this, and it was up for 2 weeks, and 1 million people came through there in 2 weeks, and then they took it down.
And we have a shot of it there.
Yeah, that's the mall right there. The big Bhutanese flags. This was the centerpiece. The lakang was the centerpiece. You can see it there in the background, and the Capitol is over on the right, and the roof of the lakang is over on the left. And then all around there would be traditional arts, and archery is a big sport there, cultural practice. So they were displaying their archery, their food. Every year, the Bhutanese students on campus usually do some kind of food festival. They have like a chile con queso that's very similar to something that we would eat here on the border. But all of this was on display. But this lakang was the centerpiece of their whole cultural exhibit.
And what happened to it?
Well, so like we were talking about during the break, so many things are just they're disposable. They're only up for 2 weeks. It's kind of like world fairs, right? When they're done, they just everything gets scrapped.
Yeah.
And we just learned over the break also that the Asia Society took it up and housed it in New York City.
Put it back together.
Right?
Had to.
But in the interim, Dr. Natalicio, our president at UTEP, approached the King of Bhutan and said, well, what about having it here at the UTEP campus? We were just beginning the process of the campus transformation, which is I always describe it as turning a parking lot into a beautiful green space, right?
Yeah.
But the award-winning landscaping of our entire campus, but mainly that area right there in the center of campus. And she envisioned, when seeing this in 2008, hey, this could be the crown jewel of that campus transformation.
A Buddhist temple.
That all of this, coming full circle. We have been replicating their architecture, and now we have this piece of architecture, the only Bhutanese building of its kind outside of the Kingdom of Bhutan, and it will be it will be and is now displayed. And there's the plaque. So it was actually gifted by the King of Bhutan and the people of Bhutan to the people of the United States to specifically be housed here at UTEP. And unfortunately for me, not in the plaque, but for myself and my staff to be curated and managed by us. So it's quite an honor.
And again, you have a virtual tour of this on your website.
Yes. So go to the Centennial Museum's website. I think Melissa said she posted it. If you go to Lekong, you'll see a virtual Lekong. It's a 360. You know, those 360 cameras. Everyone's got them now. I feel like, but we hired someone to come in and film. Augment El Paso is the name of the company. They augmented 2 of the murals in there, and we can talk about some of the murals we have pictures of. We can talk about some of those later, but they just took great photos of everything, and it's as if you're walking around on the inside and the outside of the Lekong.
And you have a tour of it coming up.
Yes, March 5th with Celebrate Our Mountains.
Can I add a statement to what, and I think this fits to UTEP. It says almost all Bhutanese villages have a local Lekong located on a strategic and elevated spot in or around a village, usually built on a spot that is geographically striking, which is where UTEP one is, and some geometric and spiritual significance. And construction of a Lekong is often undertaken by the community members as an act of religious piety. So I think it kind of fits into UTEP, you know, like I said, a striking location on campus because you can see it just about anywhere on the campus. It's coming in from the east side, and it's gorgeous.
Yes.
I wonder what people think when they first come to UTEP and they don't know anything about it. What is that?
Yeah, I think, you know, I remember, you know, I came to El Paso and UTEP because of my wife, who's a professor in sociology, and I remember we were living in Galveston, Texas, the second best place for Texas history in Texas.
Ours is number one,
yes,
of course.
Well, this is where it began, though.
Right, I know. That's what I said, the second. But so we were in Galveston, and she flew out here, and she came back, and she was like, "You wouldn't believe this. The campus is a Bhutanese architecture." And of course, I was like, "Where's What's Bhutanese?"
Bhutan?
But it was, so it's that it's to me, I think people are taken aback, right? Like, what is this? It's curiosity, right? Such an important thing to nurture. I mean, this is one of my things in life that I just feel people aren't curious enough about life. But I think it promotes curiosity. What's going on here?
Yeah.
Why is this here? And I remember she was very amazed, and she came back and made me excited about wanting to move here. And so and now, you know, that was over 10 years ago. We're here and you're
having a good time.
And having a good time. Yeah. I mean, it's such a joy to be able to share this architecture and culture with other people. So
Daniel Carey-Whalen, he is the director of the Centennial Museum on campus. We may talk a bit about the museum itself and what's in it and what you got there. So taking a break here in the El Paso History Radio Show. Do we have any social media?
Victor Vasquez, I just posted that information about what a Lekong is and how it affects, you know, where they're built and all. And it's Victor Vasquez loved it. And Jim Tolbert also posted a link to Celebration of Our Mountains for your talk coming up.
So there you go.
Nice.
It's going to be cool.
It says Jim Tolbert wants to know, are there any restaurants in El Paso that prepare and serve Bhutanese cuisine?
What's a Bhutanese hot dog
That is
like?
I'm not.
I bet
It's hard to hold with chopsticks.
I bet you there isn't one.
Probably not.
I guess. All right, taking a break on the show. Back in a moment.
You are listening to a break in our Facebook streaming of the El Paso History Radio Show, which airs live on KTSM AM 690 in El Paso, Texas, and live right here now on our El Paso History Radio Show page on Facebook.com.
Visit Mission Del Rey Southwest for a huge selection of El Paso souvenirs and gifts. Mission Del Rey features El Paso saddle blanket products and thousands of Southwest, Western, Native American, and Mexican gifts and decor. Bring your friends and mention you heard us on the radio for a store-wide discount. Mission Del Rey Southwest, 1421 Lee Trevino. Enter on Pelicano. Go to missiondelrey.com or call 915-440-2140 for Mission Del Rey Southwest.
This radio show is now streaming on the Facebook page, Remember in El Paso When, run by Barbara Given-Baney. We still archive the audio of these radio shows on ephistory.com. And you can go there online and find our radio shows for the last several years. Go to ephistory.com and access the El Paso History Radio Show archives for every Saturday radio show back to early 2016.
Many retired El Paso area homeowners don't know where to begin when it comes to downsizing and selling their home. Patrick Tuttle and his legacy home team follow a proven process to help retired homeowners sell faster and for more money. Call Patrick Tuttle at 915-588-1850 today and get your home sold faster and for more money. That's Patrick Tuttle at 915-588-1850. Call him today.
El Paso History TV is now available for free on YouTube.com. Take a look at recent ABC 7 news reports by Bernie Sargent on El Paso History TV about Waco tanks, the Franklin Mountains, Concordia Cemetery, and more. The YouTube channel also has more than 100 videos about El Paso history with lectures, documentaries, and various history clips. Go to youtube.com/El Paso History TV and find out how Texas history begins in El Paso.
Monterey Asset Management is proud to sponsor the El Paso History Show. If you're tired of the ups and downs of the stock market, maybe you should invest in real estate. Monterey Asset manages apartments in El Paso and helps investors buy, hold, and sell property. See the new website, m1ep.com, m1ep.com. To learn more about the many benefits and long-term appreciation of investing in real estate, call Certified Property Manager Ray Baca, 915-592-4549, 592-4549.
Here's the deal. When you combine State Farm home and auto insurance, you save an average of $889. State Farm agent Ralph Dickerson is ready to help you combine home and auto and save here in El Paso. Call 915-581-0000 today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Average annual per household savings based on a 2019 national survey by State Farm of new policyholders who reported savings by switching to State Farm.
You are listening to a break in our Facebook streaming of the El Paso History Radio Show, which airs live on KTSM AM 690 in El Paso, Texas, and live with video right here on our El Paso History Radio Show page on Facebook.com. Our live streaming on Facebook started on November 21st, 2020, with our tribute to Leon Metz, which you can now listen to here on our Facebook page, El Paso History Radio Show. Scroll down our page to find that archive in our videos section. You are listening to a break in our Facebook streaming of the El Paso History Radio Show, which airs live on KTSM AM 690 in El Paso, Texas, and live right here now on our El Paso History Radio Show page on Facebook.com.
Visit Mission Del Rey Southwest for a huge selection of El Paso souvenirs and gifts. Mission Del Rey features El Paso saddle blanket products and thousands of Southwest, Western, Native American, and Mexico items for gifts and decor. Bring your friends and mention you heard us on the radio for a store-wide discount. Mission Del Rey Southwest, 1421 Lee Trevino. Enter on Pelicano. Go to missiondelrey.com or call 915-440-2140 for Mission Del Rey Southwest.
This radio show is now streaming on the Facebook page, Remember in El Paso When, run by Barbara Given Bainey. We still archive the audio of these radio shows on ephistory.com. And you can go there online and find our radio shows for the last several years. Go to ephistory.com and access the El Paso History Radio Show archives for every Saturday radio show back to early 2016.
Many retired El Paso area homeowners don't know where to begin when it comes to downsizing.
This is my name. I'll talk. Here we go. Hey, February 12th coming up. The topic next week is El Paso breweries and beverage history with a guy named Rick Chavez. And I think he's been to all. He wouldn't have gone to a lot of the old bars because he's not that old, but he studied them. He likes this stuff. So that's next week on February 12th. And also just an announcement, the Tom Lee Institute has a tour of the Hunt Collection of Regional Art scheduled for Thursday, February 24th, 10 a.m. at the new West Star Tower, downtown 303 North Oregon. The space is limited, so contact them now if you're interested at 915-533-0048.
Harvey Girls of El Paso will present Romance on the Rail Lines. And this is Monday, February 14th at 2 p.m. at the historic Union Passenger Station Depot. Smell the smoke and cinders. Hear the lonesome whistles as the trains enter the station. You can mingle with passengers traveling on Amtrak and walk on the same floor as did presidents, celebrities, dignitaries, soldiers, and everyday folks, done since 1906. View the original floor plan of the Union Passenger Station Depot and learn about the architecture of Daniel Burnham.
Burnham.
What did I say? Okay, correct me again.
Well, it's his name. COVID-19 restrictions are in effect, and call Patricia for info, right?
Oh, yes. I'm sorry, I forgot her number down
yeah.
there. It's 915-591-2326.
Just to complete the announcement, I just something we do here. Daniel Carey-Whalen's here. We got a couple of minutes left in this section of the program. Talk about the interior of Lakang. Again, the Lakang is
essentially the English translation is temple. And we were talking earlier. It is it's kind of more than a shrine, but it's not a residential. It's not a church. There's no monk that's residing there. As Melissa said, there's kind of pretty much one in every town. Very iconic structure
in Bhutan.
In Bhutan, yes. And so when you walk into our Lakang here, it is very similar to what would be in Bhutan. The Bhutanese students, I always love when they come in, they get nostalgic. They're like, oh, this is just like home. But then they start looking around and they're like, well, no, it's a bit different. Because it was not meant to be a religious building. It was meant to be this cultural artifact that showed off Bhutanese culture. And so this is a picture right here. This one is of the Buddha. It's right after he's enlightened. It's his first teaching. Now, okay, I just said it's not a religious building, but we're talking about a religion. Yeah. And that's because Buddhism and Bhutan are just intertwined, right? That they're really it's just part of everyday life, right? And so these stories of the Buddha. So there's two stories when you walk in. One to the right is the story of Buddha from birth to death, and then the story of Buddhism on the left is Buddhism coming to Bhutan. And there's this gentleman named Guru Rinpoche, and this image right here that you see is him bringing Buddhism to Bhutan. There was an indigenous religion. If you look on the bottom right hand, and I know some of you are on the radio listening, but go back and check it out on Facebook. There's a gentleman who is of the indigenous religion there called Bon. It's still in existence there today, but Guru Rinpoche is kind of casting out this person, trying to convert him to Buddhism, essentially. But he's the one who brings Buddhism from Tibet. He brings it from India, actually, to Tibet and then to Bhutan. And so he's kind of their spiritual leader. They often call him the second Buddha.
Oh.
And so it's just hard to know Bhutanese culture. You have to know about Buddhism.
That's part of the deal.
Which is part of the deal. Yeah.
And so this is now, you just described, these are pictures that we were seeing on Facebook here. This is what was inside of the Lakang. There's one more picture Andrew's got up there. What is that?
That is one of the costumes we have in there. And that's one of the things that is different. You wouldn't see a mannequin with a costume in a Lakang back in Bhutan.
You see the real guy?
See it here. Yeah, no, you don't see that. But you see it here because we want to talk about dance. So, and Melissa mentioned that when we did the ceremony of the inaugural ceremony, when the Lakang was open, there were dancers that came over from Bhutan. Dance is an integral part, as much as Buddhism, of their culture. And so here you have this amazing mask of kind of the deer head, but
one of the deities. Yeah.
Yes. Right. Yeah. Different deities. I really. When I see this mask, I think of, like so many other religions in the world that kind of take that indigenous religion, in this case, Bon, the native religion there that was more animistic, right? I don't know if it's necessarily worshiping animals, but that connection to the natural world. And it gets incorporated in this case into their dance costumes, right?
Yeah.
Another one, and I didn't put it in here, is look online. If you go on the Lakang website, it looks very Dia de los Muertos. It's a skull type of
costume.
And immediately, people from the border kind of identify with it, and
I can get that.
It's the same thing. It's a dance. It's a celebration of, people passing from this world.
You'd have to wonder, as I mentioned earlier, somebody coming in from Mexico saying, "What is all of this?"
Yeah,
and they can relate to that part. Anyway, okay,
yeah,
we could take a break here. Daniel Carey-Whalen is the guy you're listening to, and he is the director of the Centennial Museum. We'll come back and talk maybe about the Centennial Museum a little bit.
Sure.
Exhibits now and future you got coming up.
Yes.
Interesting stuff there. All right, should we take a break here?
Yes, we shall.
All right, back in just a moment.
You are listening to a break in our Facebook streaming of the El Paso History Radio Show, which airs live on KTSM AM 690 in El Paso, Texas, and live right here now on our El Paso History Radio Show page on Facebook.com.
Visit Mission Del Rey Southwest for a huge selection of El Paso souvenirs and gifts. Mission Del Rey features El Paso saddle blanket products and thousands of Southwest, Western, Native American, and Mexico items for gifts and decor. Bring your friends and mention you heard us on the radio for a store-wide discount. Mission Del Rey Southwest, 1421 Lee Trevino. Enter on Pelicano. Go to missiondelrey.com or call 915-440-2140 for Mission Del Rey Southwest.
This radio show is now streaming on the Facebook page, Remember in El Paso When, run by Barbara Given Bainey. We still archive the audio of these radio shows on ephistory.com. And you can go there online and find our radio shows for the last several years. Go to ephistory.com and access the El Paso History Radio Show archives for every Saturday radio show back to early 2016.
Many retired El Paso area homeowners don't know where to begin when it comes to downsizing and selling their home. Patrick Tuttle and his legacy home team follow a proven process to help retired homeowners sell faster and for more money. Call Patrick Tuttle at 915-588-1850 today and get your home sold faster and for more money. That's Patrick Tuttle at 915-588-1850. Call him today.
El Paso History TV is now available for free on YouTube.com. Take a look at recent ABC 7 news reports by Bernie Sargent on El Paso History TV about Waco tanks, the Franklin Mountains, Concordia Cemetery, and more. The YouTube channel also has more than 100 videos about El Paso history with lectures, documentaries, and various history clips. Go to youtube.com/El Paso History TV and find out how Texas history begins in El Paso. Monterey Asset Management is proud to sponsor the El Paso History Show. If you're tired of the ups and downs of the stock market, maybe you should invest in real estate. Monterey Asset manages apartments in El Paso and helps investors buy, hold, and sell property. See the new website, m1ep.com, m1ep.com. To learn more about the many benefits and long-term appreciation of investing in real estate, call Certified Property Manager Ray Baca, 915-592-4549, 592-4549.
Here's the deal. When you combine State Farm home and auto insurance, you save an average of $889. State Farm agent Ralph Dickerson is ready to help you combine home and auto and save here in El Paso. Call 915-581-0000 today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Average annual per household savings based on a 2019 national survey by State Farm of new policyholders who reported savings by switching to State Farm.
You are listening to a break in our Facebook streaming of the El Paso History Radio Show, which airs live on KTSM AM 690 in El Paso, Texas, and live with video right here on our El Paso History Radio Show page on Facebook.com. Our live streaming on Facebook started on November 21st, 2020, with our tribute to Leon Metz, which you can now listen to here on our Facebook page, El Paso History Radio Show. Scroll down our page to find that archive in our videos section. You are listening to a break in our Facebook streaming of the El Paso History Radio Show, which airs live on KTSM AM 690 in El Paso, Texas, and live right here now on our El Paso History Radio Show page on Facebook.com.
Visit Mission Del Rey Southwest for a huge selection of El Paso souvenirs and gifts. Mission Del Rey features El Paso saddle blanket products and thousands of Southwest, Western, Native American, and Mexico items for gifts and decor. Bring your friends and mention you heard us on the radio for a store-wide discount. Mission Del Rey Southwest, 1421 Lee Trevino. Enter on Pelicano. Go to missiondelrey.com or call 915-440-2140 for Mission Del Rey Southwest.
This radio show is now streaming on the Facebook page, Remember in El Paso When, run by Barbara Given Bainey. We still archive the audio of these radio shows on ephistory.com. And you can go there online and find our radio shows for the last several years. Go to ephistory.com and access the El Paso History Radio Show archives for every Saturday radio show back to early 2016.
Many retired El Paso area homeowners don't know where to begin when it comes to downsizing.
Now, what's going on this week only in El Paso Inc.?
Catch up on former El Paso Electric CEO Mary Kipp. She talks about her move from the desert to a houseboat in Seattle, growing up off the grid, and the future of energy.
Also in the Inc., why a California holding company has bought a plastics manufacturer in the borderland.
The founder of Crown Wealth talks to El Paso Inc. about financial planning during the pandemic and more.
El Paso's business journal is El Paso Inc., available for home or business delivery, and you can receive El Paso Inc. Order it online at elpasoinc.com. All right, Daniel Carey-Whalen is in the house here. We got him talking about stuff. Let's focus now on the Centennial Museum a bit. We have a phone call we'll get to in a second. But the Centennial Museum, you're the director of that. It's the only real museum on campus, I take it.
Yes, I mean, there is the Rubin Center for Contemporary Art, which is a contemporary art. I call it a museum.
Yeah, I guess it would be.
And then there's the Heritage House, which has the history of UTEP. There's a picture of it right there, and I forgot to mention that I'm not an expert on UTEP history, but these folks are. So you can contact them. They have a website. You can also go. I don't know what their hours are because of COVID, but you can go visit them. But they have the history of El Paso. But as far as a museum, a natural and cultural history museum, we're the only one on campus. We are the first museum in El Paso. 1936. We're called the Centennial Museum because of the centennial of
Texas.
Yes,
yeah.
the Texas Revolution in 1836.
Right.
And so
They
there's
spread monuments all over the state. They put
yeah.
museums up. It's amazing what they did.
Yeah, and in the 30s, they being the legislature of Texas said, we want to celebrate the centennial of the Texas Revolution, and we're going to put up monuments. We're going to do celebrations all over the state. And I think originally, I can't remember what it was, that they offered El Paso, $1,000 or something, some piddling amount,
Well, not for that time. It would have seemed like a little
You can't
bit
build
then,
a building like that, though, for
you can't build a building,
$1,000.
Well, you could have.
And you couldn't get much. I mean, yes, definitely, it was some amount of money, but not enough. And luckily, the people of El Paso got together and said, look, we don't have a museum. We need more than this. And they ended up getting $20,000. So which at the time was a lot of money. And as we were talking about earlier during one of the breaks, the city did get donate the land. There was a bit of controversy, like all things El Paso. Some people wanted it downtown. And some people, same,
which
same story.
kind of makes sense instead of having it on a campus. But
yes, and of course at that time, the campus was way outside of town. It seemed like
in the boonies out there.
And so, the legislature had the money. The Board of Regents agreed to. Because part of what the city was saying, well, we could build it, but we can't staff it. I mean, this is very typical of other museums that we've built in the last 20 years. We can't put any exhibits in it or staff it or
what a deal.
Maintain it. And so they the university agreed to take those things on.
And back at the time, it was a college.
Yes, right. Yeah.
It's a detail.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a caller here named Al. Al has a question. And Al, you're on the radio. What's up?
Hey, I was wondering, your guest is Dr. Whalen or Mr. Whalen?
Mr.
I wanted to know if he was related to a Dr. Whalen who ran the chemistry department back in the late 60s, early 70s.
Not that I'm aware of. I know there's
a distant cousin, but we don't know that.
There's Whalens here. I'm originally from Kansas City, and the Whalens came directly from Ireland to Kansas City.
Probably a lot of them came out, and you talk about two different groups here. Well, thanks anyway, Al.
All I remember was he was one tough cookie.
Well, we got a nice guy in here.
Chemistry, that was for sure.
All right. Thanks a lot, Al.
Are you guys going to talk about the major expansions of UTEP from the 65 to 70s, 80s?
Well, maybe a little bit.
Huge amount of expansion.
Oh yeah, we're
going
gonna
on.
we're going to focus now on the Centennial Museum itself. So maybe we may
okay.
not get to
Well,
all of that.
Good luck.
All right,
Bye.
thanks a lot. You take care. And Andrew, you got a Facebook question now. What is it?
Yeah, we had a question come in from, actually, I'm just realizing maybe another long-lost cousin here, Ofra Leeser Whalen, asking what Bhutanese artifacts are in other buildings on campus?
Yes, that is not a long lost relative. Oprah Lizer Whalen is my spouse.
There you go.
A shill.
Calling to heckle me. No, a good question. I know other people had questions about it too, and someone had mentioned reading books in the library in front of the altar. There are artifacts all over campus. There is an altar, a whole huge altar in the atrium of the library. There's an amazing kimono that's on display in the health science.
The library
building.
exhibit is not the same that went into this building.
No, these are all separate. So we have there are artifacts in the Centennial Museum that we have, masks, costumes. But they're spread throughout campus, and there's even kind of touch points around campus on the Centennial Museum's grounds. In the Chihuahuan Desert Garden, we have the prayer flags. Those are Bhutanese prayer flags. The prayer wheel in our that's kind of right at one of the entrances from the parking lot into our garden. You can touch and spin the prayer wheel.
Explain the garden a little bit.
Well, yeah. So the Chihuahuan Desert Gardens are about 600 different species from the northern Chihuahuan Desert. It started in 1999. You all probably might remember John White, our former curator. He, for decades, kind of grew that garden and retired a couple years ago. But that garden has plants from the Big Bend to the Arizona border, from all the way up near
Chihuahuan Desert.
Yeah, the Chihuahuan Desert, all the way up near Albuquerque and down into Chihuahua, towards Chihuahua City. Of course, the Chihuahuan Desert's the largest desert in North America. It goes way down past Chihuahua City, but we kind of just focus on the northern part, in part because,
America and United States.
Well, we do have, some of Mexico, but it just doesn't. It's not going to survive up here. This winter, some of those plants from further down in the Chihuahuan Desert wouldn't have liked the snow and the cold snap we're currently.
None of us do.
Yeah, right.
We all kind of fade out.
We're kind of we're like cactus ourselves. No, by the way, it was an interesting thing to see the hype that came on with this, and it was cold this morning. Obviously, cold yesterday morning. But they had. I had visions of black ice for 4 days. Like, no,
Right.
they didn't happen. No big deal. So here we are.
Wait 5 seconds and it'll be back.
So sunshine is coming.
Something that one of our listeners texted me was Tom Shaughnessy said that there's also a display of statues of Buddhas and Oriental artwork, dragons, amulets at the International Museum of Art on Montana and Brown Street. So we've got it all over El Paso. This is interesting. Thanks, Tom.
All right, thank you, Tom. And Tom and I have talked because he has a very large collection. I think that a lot of that collection is based on his collection.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, they have a wonderful collection in the International Museum of Art.
Andrew, you got another thought in there.
Yeah, I don't know if it technically counts as an artifact, but we got the picture of one of the world's largest book at the time. That is a book of it's 5 foot by 7 foot, and it's a picture book of Bhutan.
Oh, look at where is that?
That is in the library. It's in a case in the library, and I would consider it an artifact too. I think.
Oh yeah. Well, your whole building is an artifact, Lakong. So why not? Yeah, sure.
So yeah, no, you can. It's amazing. I mean, it's huge. I just I learned so much on this being and listening to this radio show, but we just learned that it's one of the world's largest books. So.
Oh yeah. Well, also, let's not forget to talk about, and that guy wanted to talk about all of UTEP history. We can't get there today, but we can talk about some Centennial history, specifically what you have now currently showing and planning to show. Let's talk about the exhibits.
Yeah, so we have, just for one more week, next Saturday, the 12th, is the last day for what we call it the kimono exhibit. It's called Ties to Home, the kimonos of Kitty Huntley. So Kitty Huntley was a Japanese woman who met her husband in Japan at the end of World War II. He was actually a Kansas boy. I can identify with that. He was actually stationed out there. He actually re-enlisted in the Navy and said, "I'll only re-enlist if I can be sent to this town where she lives."
Oh my!
And
they don't normally do that.
I know. I was amazed. And so, but talk about love. So he went out and joined her, brought her back.
She brought all these kimonos.
Well, she probably
which is
brought
a dress.
Some, the
female.
dress of Japanese traditional dress, but it was here that that's why it's called Ties to Home. And she started this collection.
Oh my!
And when
is that something in your archives?
It is not. It's actually housed. We partnered with the theater and dance department. Okay. It's housed up there. It was donated to them. For helping costume design, inspiration. So when she passed away, her husband was a professor here in the math department. And when she passed away, the family donated this kimono collection, and immediately the theater and dance department came to the Centennial and said, "We would love to display this. It's beautiful. It's a wonderful story. It's really a story of immigration that is different from our normal kind of immigration story, I think, here on the border."
Also, before we run out of time, what do you have permanent exhibits?
Well, the permanent exhibits are the ones that we're normally have. Our history is really tied to 3 departments on campus: geology, biology, and anthropology. So upstairs, our permanent collections are focused on those 3 areas. But I did want to promote we're having a Smithsonian. Speaking of the Smithsonian again, we're having a Waterways exhibit. It's called. And it's coming here on March 4th. I hope will we have any time later, or should I just keep plugging this? Because
go ahead and finish it.
Yeah. Okay. So March 4th for 2 months, for March and April, we're having this traveling exhibit with the Smithsonian. And it's just a one-of-a-kind traveling exhibit. It is Smithsonian quality. It's talking not only about the science of water, the water cycle, all that good stuff that we all should know, but also humans' relationship with water. So waterways, it's the ways that we've interacted with water over the centuries.
We are water.
Yeah. And it just, and I would kind of put that on the science side, but yeah, it's also the humanity side. And then we're creating a local exhibit to talk about water in our region. So there's going to be kind of the history of water. You mentioning Keystone. We talk about Keystone Heritage Park, Hueco tanks, just our relationship with the Rio Grande.
Oh yeah.
And it's going to be a great history and science exhibit.
Andrew's got something to throw in there. What do you got?
Yeah, a question just came up from Victor Vasquez saying, wanted to ask about the Cuba photos exhibit in the museum, and are there any plans to present any further exhibits on Cuba?
We did have a David Soto Smith, a photographer, professor at UTEP. It was probably about 3 years ago. We did an exhibit of his work, some amazing photography in Cuba. He and his wife, who helped run the, I can't think of the Border Zine. They went to Cuba yearly and took students there, but all that stopped because of the pandemic, right? And so as soon as they go and take more pictures and come back, we'll definitely
have more pictures.
And with that, we're gonna take our next to the last break here. Andrew, hit the button there.
El Paso History. You are listening to a break in our Facebook streaming of the El Paso History Radio Show, which airs live on KTSM AM 690 in El Paso, Texas, and live right here now on our El Paso History Radio Show page on Facebook.com.
Visit Mission Del Rey Southwest for a huge selection of El Paso souvenirs and gifts. Mission Del Rey features El Paso saddle blanket products and thousands of Southwest, Western, Native American, and Mexico items for gifts and decor. bring your friends and mention you heard us on the radio for a store-wide discount. Mission Del Rey Southwest, 1421 Lee Trevino. Enter on Pelicano. Go to missiondelrey.com or call 915-440-2140 for Mission Del Rey Southwest.
This radio show is now streaming on the Facebook page, Remember in El Paso When, run by Barbara Given Bainey. We still archive the audio of these radio shows on ephistory.com, and you can go there online and find our radio shows for the last several years. Go to ephistory.com and access the El Paso History Radio Show archives for every Saturday radio show back to early 2016.
Many retired El Paso area homeowners don't know where to begin when it comes to downsizing and selling their home. Patrick Tuttle and his legacy home team follow a proven process to help retired homeowners sell faster and for more money. Call Patrick Tuttle at 915-588-1850 today and get your home sold faster and for more money. That's Patrick Tuttle at 915-588-1850. Call him today.
El Paso History TV is now available for free on YouTube.com. Take a look at recent ABC 7 news reports by Bernie Sargent on El Paso History TV about Waco tanks, the Franklin Mountains, Concordia Cemetery, and more. The YouTube channel also has more than 100 videos about El Paso history with lectures, documentaries, and various history clips. Go to youtube.com/El Paso History TV and find out how Texas history begins in El Paso. Monterey Asset Management is proud to sponsor the El Paso History Show. If you're tired of the ups and downs of the stock market, maybe you should invest in real estate. Monterey Asset manages apartments in El Paso and helps investors buy, hold, and sell property. See the new website, m1ep.com, m1ep.com. To learn more about the many benefits and long-term appreciation of investing in real estate, call Certified Property Manager Ray Baca, 915-592-4549, 592-4549.
Here's the deal. When you combine State Farm home and auto insurance, you save an average of $889. State Farm agent Ralph Dickerson is ready to help you combine home and auto and save here in El Paso. Call 915-581-0000 today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Average annual per household savings based on a 2019 national survey by State Farm of new policyholders who reported savings by switching to State Farm.
You are listening to a break in our Facebook streaming of the El Paso History Radio Show, which airs live on KTSM AM 690 in El Paso, Texas, and live with video right here on our El Paso History Radio Show page on Facebook.com. Our live streaming on Facebook started on November 21st, 2020, with our tribute to Leon Metz, which you can now listen to here on our Facebook page, El Paso History Radio Show. Scroll down our page to find that archive in our videos section. You are listening to a break in our Facebook streaming of the El Paso History Radio Show, which airs live on KTSM AM 690 in El Paso, Texas, and live right here now on our El Paso History Radio Show page on Facebook.com.
Visit Mission Del Rey Southwest for a huge selection of El Paso souvenirs and gifts. Mission Del Rey features El Paso saddle blanket products and thousands of Southwest West.
Hello there. A quick reminder to visit the McGoffin Home State Historic site on McGoffin Avenue, phone 915-533-5147. You got a quick announcement?
Yes, check this out at the Franklin Mountain State Park, Sunday, February 13th at 4:30 p.m. They have a sunset hike on the Upper Sunset Trail. It's a 1.3 mile moderate hike. And if you'd like more information about this, call Diana Moy at 915-444-9100.
All right, Daniel Carey-Whalen, talk to us quickly about the summary of your day.
Well, I just wanted to plug, I just noticed 18 minutes ago on our Facebook page, the Centennial Museum, Chihuahuan Desert Garden, we just posted the Waterways exhibit from March 5th to April 30th, so I hope people come and check that out. I did want to plug the museum itself. We're one of the few places on campus, I always say the only place on campus with free parking. Just come in through the entrance on the west side of campus where the PIC is, the roundabout there. If you come into the gate, there'll be someone at the gate and you just say, I'm visiting the Centennial Museum, and they'll point you to our driveway, which is the first right once you drive in. You can park and back and come inside and get a pass that you put in your window and park for free and come visit us. Upstairs, we were talking about history, natural and cultural history of the Chihuahuan Desert. We're really the only natural history museum in the area.
A rock collection beats everybody's.
Amazing rocks. In fact, I'm taking my son over there today after lunch because he's just learning about, igneous, sedimentary, all that stuff.
There you go. And you got a whole room full of that.
We have
stuff.
a whole room full of it. Then, of course, paleontology, back when William Strain was one of the pioneer paleontologists back in the 30s and 40s, 50s, and we have an amazing collection. Unfortunately, the geology department doesn't have a paleontologist at the moment, but we still have a decent collection there. And then, of course, anthropology and biology. I mentioned David Carmichael. We have a great relationship with anthropology, lots of archaeologists here, lots of digs.
So the public can come visit.
Yes, yeah.
They should call you up maybe to make sure that things are right.
We're open right now. We're open 10 to 3. March 1st, we're going to go back to our 10 to 4 Monday through Saturday. We're the only museum open on Monday in town that I know of. 10 to 4 Monday through Saturday.
915-747.
5565.
5565. Get there on the UTEP campus. Take a look at this place. Call them up to make sure that they're not just jammed with people already.
Right.
And you'll be selling flowers here coming up soon. The floral.
Yes, we'll be doing a spring Flora Fest.
Yeah.
We already have the date. It is April 30th.
There you go.
My birthday. Well, thank you. What are you buying me for my birthday?
Yes.
Many thanks in the control
flowers.
room in there, by the way. Andrew J. Polk do the Monday through Friday Talk El Paso. That would be 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. And Monday, you're going to talk about the hotel that burned out. Fair enough. All right. And Monse in there, thank you for learning the ropes in there. Melissa, we're coming back next week. We should do that.
Yes, we will.
Talking about the brewery history. Daniel Carey-Whalen. Daniel Carey-Whalen.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
See you all next week on the El Paso History Radio Show.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Bye.